Hi everyone. I have so missed you all, and I've missed making soap too. And so you're going to get 4 soaps in one video. I recently was approached by someone who wanted me to make them some wholesale soap, 160 bars, uh, which is in this case 40 bars of 4 different soaps. This first one I'm doing here is a rose soap colored with alkanet root and pink clay. And they all have exactly the same recipe of oils and butters, which include all of my greatest hits. We've got shea butter, mango butter, coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, and some jojoba and almond, and of course castor oil to help boost those bubbles too. My luscious goat milk from my very own goats, and I had a lot of fun with this. Now, starting a new job in the midst of all of this was a bit challenging. That's why I've got behind in doing my other videos. I've taken on a rather big responsibility on my job. Taken on a new client, have a lot more people that report to me now, and a lot more people that I'm helping each day, which I love to do. It really is something that I take a great joy in. But I don't get to do some of the other things that I like to do as much, like dealing with the livestock and my farm. So I've had to change things up, streamline some things. But soaping is something I'm not going to stop doing. I will continue to do it. I suffer when I don't, and I really mean that. I need soaping. It helps me relax, it helps me feel better about life in general, and it puts me in touch with all of you, and I miss you. You don't work for me, so you can be honest with me and we can have a very different kind of relationship. Not that my employees are dishonest, that's not what I mean. But there is no connection here where I am your superior or you're an employee. You know what I mean? And I don't think of myself as a superior, but sometimes employees look at us that way when we're managers. And I try to discourage that and I've tried to be both a friend and be a manager. And that's tough. I think that's like a parent that tries to be a friend of their child. That doesn't always lead to success. But I've had pretty good luck. That's why I keep moving and moving up and somewhat laterally this time within this company. Now what you're seeing me here is I'm separating out some of the that I've already added rose clay to, and I'm adding, that's right, dry alkanet root. It hasn't been infused in any other oils. The reason for that is I wanted this to have a more natural look. I wanted it to have kind of a speckly, dark tone to it. Yes, it's rose, but it's more like a wild rose or a rugosa rose. So it's not going to be a precious pink. It's going to be more of a darker, sort of a Victorian appearance to it, in color that is. And I had so much fun doing this. But I do miss chatting with you all. And I've got so behind in watching your videos, those of you that make videos, and please know I'm not ignoring you and that I will, as soon as I can, try to catch up on those. I just haven't had time. I did catch one of Renee's yesterday and one of Jen's, but I just haven't had the time. I'd love to go over to Patty's channel and watch some of her videos and some of you others, and it's just been crazy busy. To be honest with you, yes, I just spilled soap all over. I made a mess on this first one. This was the first time I had made soap in a 5-gallon bucket and poured it like this, so I learned a lesson on this first one. On the next 3, I do a much better job, I assure you. But where was I going with this? Oh yes, I'm putting in a lot of hours at work. Just yesterday alone, I put in about 16 hours. From the time I started to late in the AM, matter of fact, at the time I'm recording this, it's almost 2 a.m. and I'm still responding to emails and catching up just so I don't get too overloaded. So there's a lot to do. But I spoke to my boss today, and this is all going to be letting up in the next few weeks as things level out. So it will be much better. And anyway, this soap came out great. I was very happy with it. It's very muted. It's kind of a mauvish pink color with some darker streaks through it. And I love the speckles from the alkanet root. I think it's just perfect. I like that. It just makes it look more natural. This next soap was a sweetgrass soap. And basically the instruction was to make a green soap, and that was really it. And I could have gone a lot of different ways, but I played it a little safe here. I used green clay, French green clay, and some spirulina to give an alternate green color, and it came out green. And I really like green soaps. I think they're my favorite color of soap. Most of the soaps I make have green or similar colors in them, which, by the way, I have done another juniper soap, which will be coming up soon. It's a restock. That soap sells out every time I make it, and it's great for scrubbing the feet. It's very much an exfoliation bar, but you'll see that. I'll try to get that video up soon. Like I said, it has been crazy busy. And that first batch was scented with Rose Absolute, and I like that. I think that it takes, yes, it is expensive, but it doesn't take as much of it. And that'll probably be the last of it. I used it all completing that batch, and I probably won't buy any more right away. And in this one, it's just sweetgrass and a little bit of basil and oregano essential oils, just to give, but very little, just to give it a nice background, and it really does work well. And anyway, as far as work goes, I like what I do very much. There is a true feeling of accomplishment at the end of the day. It's just lately there hasn't been an end of the day. One day rolls into the next. And so I'm looking forward to things slowing down a bit. So you can see this lightened up quite a bit. What you're seeing there, again, speckles. This is the spirulina. And this is what I like. Not everybody does. A lot of people like a solid color, but I think that this gives it a much more natural and organic look, just having those speckles in it. And that's from the spirulina. Now, if I had infused that spirulina in oil prior to that, which you can do, you can get a great green without those speckles. But like I said, I happen to like them. Anyway, this was really a lot of fun. Now, this lemon poppy seed one did have a challenge. What happened was I used my usual yellow clays, but you'll see here I just poured in the essential oils, and I'm adding my clay. Well, when by essential oils, I'm using this is a lemon, but I'm using a 10 times lemon. I'm using just a regular lemon essential oil and some grapefruit and a bit of bergamot in it to back it up. And those reacted with this yellow clay. As you'll see here in just a moment, this lemon soap looks like it's turning into an orange soap. Can you see that? I was freaking out because this was such a big batch and it's all time sensitive and I just wanted to get it made, and it turned this color, sort of this icky, pucey, I don't know what you call this color. Uh, and I was so afraid that this would be ruined. I really was. And I thought, well, I'll just have to sell these off and as something else and remake this. Now these are the poppy seeds, and it's a lot of poppy seeds. There was over 2 pounds of poppy seeds in this batch, and I just decided I'm going to go ahead with it. If it stayed orange, well, then I would have an orange lemon. Well, I'd call it a Meyer lemon soap. But fortunately, when it cured, well, you'll see here in just a moment. You'll notice here I'm much more careful. I'm using a ladle on the first one so that it's not so full when I pour and I don't have the same problem that I had that first one. And it all went well from here. Not to say I didn't have a few dribbles here and there, I always do, but it went pretty smoothly. And with all of these soaps, that's what I like about using a recipe that you know and love. You know how it's going to act. And I know people that change up their recipes often, which I think is a lot of fun. But if you want consistency, what you're seeing over there on the right, I had some extra of this and I just poured it in a frog mold. The frogs always like new friends. Anyway, I like consistency in soaps. Now there are going to be variations, like if you're making an extremely moisturizing soap, or someone wants a really bubbly soap, or one that's better for the hair. Well, obviously you're going to change up your recipes. But when I'm doing something like this, especially in this case of doing a wholesale account, I'm making every one of these identical. The only difference are the colors and the fragrance, the essential oils in them. And again, look how orange this is. I was so nervous about it, but I just went ahead with putting the poppy seeds on top as well. I'm just decided to treat this as if it were lemon yellow. And I had my fingers crossed the whole time. Well, here it is the next day, and luckily it morphed back to yellow. I was so happy. I was really worried. I thought, what's going to happen here? But fortunately, it stayed lemon yellow, and life was perfect. I didn't have to remake it. So for that, I was very pleased. And in all of these cases, again, I made 40 bars. So there are 4 loaves of soap that I have to cut. I didn't want to force you to watch all that. This is long enough video as it is. And this took a lot of goat milk for all of these. And luckily, the goats are producing a lot of milk right now, so that works well. This one is lavender. You can't tell that by looking at it right now. That's because this is alkanet and a bit of blue indigo and a little bit of rose clay, because I wanted this to be a darker color. Not this dark, don't worry. This one I knew it would look dark. It always does when it's wet, but when as it cures, it lightens substantially. But it's a nice light lavender, but it's very, very light. It's a little subtle. I wasn't real sure whether or not I wanted a darker purple or not. So as you can see here, and my camera unfortunately doesn't always do colors justice. So I took some photographs. So obviously you can see in the photographs it's a little bit darker than you see here. That's it there on the left. So you can see it is a bit lavender there next to the lemon. And here's the rose and the green soap, the sweetgrass one. And there they all are. And thank you all so much. I'll see you back soon. Goodbye.